There's a new release from the House of Molton Brown that I decided to pick up. They had a great Black Friday special, 25% off all fragrances and products in their store. So I took the plunge and I bought a bottle of Bizarre Brandy, this one right here. But is this boozy? Let me tell you all about it when you come back. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time tuning into the channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, and of course participating in giveaways, and still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So the House of Molton Brown has gone through a facelift. They have redone all of their fragrance bottles. And they've come up with new EDP Eau De Parfum concentration fragrances of a lot of their fragrances. Unfortunately, there isn't one for Bizarre Brandy. And it does say this is part of a holiday collection or Christmas collection. So I don't know if it's a permanent fragrance or if it's a temporary fragrance, like a limited edition. I wasn't sure, but I did order this from the Molton Brown USA website, and recently I saw it at the Neiman Marcus store here in San Francisco, which has this. And so okay, it's very interesting. This is before I saw it at Neiman's. I thought it was a very interesting idea and a concept, and I love boozy fragrances. So I took the plunge and had it. 25% off $120. It was a pretty good savings. I think I saved about $30, so it was like $90 shipped to me. And I'm going to tell you all about it. Let me tell you all about it. I've done previous videos on this house. There's probably 3 or 4 videos. One just to announce the new bottles. As you can see, this is one of their new bottles. But also a review for mesmerizing Eau De Toilette gold fragrance with a shower gel. And then of course I had 5 of their smaller fragrances that I had picked up while I was in Gatwick Airport in London. So I got excited about the bottles. The bottles are really nice. I think I like these bottles. What do you think? Do you like the look of these bottles? This is how the cap is. There's the sprayer, fits like that. And again, this is the EDT bottle. They don't have an EDP version of this, and I don't own any of their EDPs currently. I do own 5 or 6 of their original EDTs, but let me spray this on and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. So this is 2019 launch, Eau De Toilette concentration, $120 for the 100 ml bottle. Perfumer is Karine Dubreuil, and with this one for notes you've got at the top cardamom, orange, and ginger. In the heart you've got aged brandy, coffee, and maple. In the base you got incense, cedarwood, and tobacco. So sounds great. Looks great, the notes look great, but for me, I don't get much booze with this one. That was the one disappointing factor about this fragrance. No booze. I mean, it's under there, like really under there. What I get with this one are similar to a few other fragrances that I have from 2 other brands. I'm going to show you what they are. Sable from Annick Goutal, and a little bit of Eau Noir from Dior. But they are different. Eau Noir is very lavender, but it dries down to kind of a molasses syrup, pancake syrup kind of a fragrance. And this one, there's no lavender, but I believe this is Immortelle. I'm not 100% sure what the notes are, but it dries down to that like pancake syrupy or, you know, maple syrupy kind of a thing. Well, this one has maple in the notes, right? So this is, upon initial spray, you get cardamom. It's spicy, it's citrusy, and a little bit zingy from that ginger. But for me, immediately I'm picking up maple syrup. Like the maple, even though it says maple, I think it's maple syrup because this is very syrupy for me, like pancake syrup, maple syrup. I get a lot of maple syrup with this one right off the bat, even though you have those top notes of cardamom, orange, and ginger. But I think the cardamom, orange, and ginger are so minute that the maple is overpowering. Maple kind of dries down to a dark black bitter coffee. That's another note that's very prominent here, and you get a nice black coffee, not very strong. It's a very kind of a weak coffee, but you can still pick up the coffee-like smell in here. Mixed in with the maple syrup, I like it. It's not anything groundbreaking. I'm really craving the brandy because it is, after all, called Bizarre Brandy. So the more I crave this brandy, the more bizarre it becomes, because I'm not getting any brandy with this one, hardly at all. And it dries down to something woody. I think cedar. I think the cedar wood note is prominent here, along with the prominent notes of the brandy and I'm sorry, not the brandy, the maple and the coffee. So those are what's really driving this fragrance. So I mean, it drives down to this very woody kind of a combo of maple and coffee. Not a lot of incense. I don't get any smoke with this one whatsoever. I do get spices, and I think it's just a maple and brandy mixed together. I'm a little disappointed at the fact that this is not exactly what it's called, even though it's featured in the notes. I don't get boozy with this one, sadly, and that's the disappointing factor. The good thing is I got it on sale. It was about $90, so that's not bad for 100 ml. The other thing I feel about this fragrance is it feels very autumn fall-like. Like when you wear it, you experience dry leaves, dry shrubs, just a kind of a cold fall day where you know, all the growth has become dry. It just becomes kind of like warmed up with the sun, and then the golden kind of hues come through, and cold outside. So it acts like a very fall-like fragrance to me, and I guess it's appropriate for this season. But personally, it's a little disappointing with this one, unfortunately, just because I've been wanting that boozy brandy note, and I don't get it with it. The other thing that I think is disappointing with this one, I don't want to say it's weak, but it acts very one-dimensional. It seems like it doesn't do a lot of changes. So you're wearing a fragrance, and it doesn't go through a lot of ups and downs. It just kind of stays flat, which I can appreciate fragrances like that, but I was still craving for that brandy note, and it just never showed up, sadly. But overall, I think it's a decent fragrance. Oh, one more thing I want to mention. It also kind of hints a little bit at fragrances like By the Fireplace. It kind of has that kind of like fall, winter kind of smell of dried shrubs and gourmand kind of touches mixed in. So I guess that's another fragrance that I would compare this to, with that similar kind of a experience. But I wouldn't rush out to go buy this one. Go sample it first. That's what I would say. It's decent enough to own and experience, but it's not a groundbreaking fragrance. Sadly, it's not one of those fragrances that are like from this collection. The Russian leather I find in this collection really great. The aquatic one with the God, I'm drawing a blank with that one, but then the gold, the mesmerizing gold and oud cord and gold is also really nice from this collection. But this one sadly falls flat for me, unfortunately. But if I ever want one of those fragrances that I just want to experience like a fall season or a very autumn like experience, then I think this one kind of would do the trick for me. But I was expecting a lot more. Now maybe they will release an EDP of this, because they are doing that now with their other fragrances. Maybe they'll make it better. Maybe it'll have some more depth, and maybe the brandy note will kind of pop through more. But for now, it's very, very maple syrupy, and that's the experience I get with this one. If you like the idea of maple syrup, not with a lot of booze, because as I said, I'm not getting a lot of the booze with this one. I'm getting a lot of syrupy touches with coffee. It's almost like breakfast in a bottle, if that makes sense. You're having pancakes with sips of black coffee without milk, because I don't get any milk with this coffee. No cappuccinos or lattes. That's the experience I get with this one. Not groundbreaking, decent enough to have if you like the idea or the thought of this fragrance. Test first before you buy it. I find it to be a little on the weak side as well. But overall, I think it's a pleasant scent. It's just been done before. And if you want that kind of syrupy, pancake syrup, maple syrup kind of thing, try these out as well. This is Sablé from Annick Goutal, which is now called Goutal Paris. And this one is the Dior limited, it's not limited edition, it's a boutique exclusive. But this one, even though it's lavender, once the lavender fades away, it dries down to that kind of a pancake syrup, molasses kind of a experience. These two I find have very similarities, and this one also kind of is similar to that as well. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Bizarre Brandy. Guys, do you know this house? Do you know Molton Brown? Do you like their products? They're known for their shower gels and I think bath products, but their fragrances are decent. I enjoy some of them. And I have videos on the channel about this house. Check them out and come back and let me know what your thoughts are on Bizarre Brandy and of course fragrances from the Molton Brown house. If you've sampled any of them, have you used any of their products? Does this idea of Bizarre Brandy sound great? Are you a fan of boozy fragrances? And what are your thoughts about this one where I'm not getting much of the brandy that's credited in the notes? I don't get it. It's if it's in there, I'm just not experiencing actual booze. So if I wanted to put together another boozy list, I would probably leave this one off because I don't get much booze from it. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.